What's up, everyone? Nightmare here. Today we're going to be picking this very cool lock. This is a Robur 2391. It has 5 pins in the main stack, 4 side pins, and these are the ASA Twin 6K style side pins. 2 out of the 5 pins in the main stacks are barrels. And what's cool about this lock is it's a safety deposit lock, which means that the actuator on the back actually makes it so the lock can only turn clockwise and it can only turn a quarter turn. We have taken that off so you can twist it either way. And what's cool about this lock is that it picks way harder clockwise than it does counterclockwise. So we're gonna pick it both ways. We'll just pick it counterclockwise this way in this video, and then we'll pick it clockwise in another video and kind of show the differences and how the sidebar reacts when it's picked in which direction. So let's go ahead and get started on it, and then we'll take it apart at the end. All right, you can kind of see from the clicks and rotations that we got that we were able to set 2, 1, and was it 4? And those were our standard drivers. And then after that, our barrels started binding, which means that the barrels probably started somewhere in the tapered sections. So now let's see if our sidebar is ready to set. Might have to float this sidebar. might have overset some of these. Let's try to drop some, make sure we didn't drop any in the main stack. Doesn't immediately feel like it. Okay. I think we were able to set most of those, except for 4. Oh, and 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Feels like just 4. There we go. So, super fun pick. If you know me, you know I love the acetwin style stuff. So, you see that this is open. You can see on the back here how this would not be possible, because this piece sits in here like this, and it can only go that way. So this would be the open position, and this would be the locked position. So we have rotated it this way. So now let's go ahead and lock it back up. Take this apart. And in order to gut this safely, you can see that the key actually protrudes out on the back here. So if we were to use a normal core follower, there'd be a gap in between, and it would also push up against the key like this, which would push some of the driver pins up, which makes it an even sketchier gut. So what we did is we made this follower, this little Robur specific follower that has a cutout for the key. So that way there's no space in between the core follower and the core. So let's just give this a nice little eighth of a turn. Line up our core follower. And push it through like that. Set that down. Show the sidebar. Show the sidebar in one of the springs, because tweezer's magnetic, you know? So exactly the same like the 6Ks. Very cool. Let's go ahead and set this guy down in here. Set this spring down in here. Let me grab my That's okay. Just dump that guy out. Gotta arrange this so you can see it better. All right. And so, yeah, you can see that we've got those 4 side pins. We'll leave those in for a second, and we'll take out the key pins. There's a bunch of very low lifts. So they're very, very long key pins. Let's see if I can show this. And this is more just, like I said, for fun video. So this ain't going on my scorecard until we pick it the right way. But I thought this video would be fun to illustrate the change in difficulty of some locks, just based on picking it clockwise or counterclockwise. Let's dump out 5. And then 4. And you can see the counter milling in all the chambers for the barrels. All right, let's get to these side bends. And we'll take these out one at a time. It's chamber 1, classic ASA side bin. Oops, let's put this up here. Another one. Yeah, we're just dropping these everywhere. And then the 4 springs, we'll just dump these out. Yeah, there's the core. Super cool. Definitely gonna have to pick up one of these locks for my personal collection. This one was loaned to me by Stormcrow. And you can see here, we've got the world's tiniest driver pins. See just how tiny that guy is. Try not to take out the spring with it because, you know, magnetic tweezers, but you can see just how tiny that it looks like a master waver. It's so tiny. Paired up with all these giant giant key pins that are like no lift. This one should be our first barrel. Let's see if I can get this. Very good lighting. Oops, forgot to dump the springs from the last one. Just take out both those at once. And we'll flip this around. Take out 5 and 6 from this side. This next one should be our other barrel. Again, very, very tiny. There we go. And our last oops. You can still kind of see that in there. very tiny driver. And spring. And nothing going on with the core other than you can see the groove for the sidebar. But yeah, super cool lock. And so now I wanted to show kind of how the sidebar behaves. Actually, let's do a close-up of the pins first so you can see what we're talking about. But now we're gonna put it back together with just the sidebar in. Springs don't matter order, but if you switch up the side pins, you can alter the binding order, which not a big deal, but if you're trying to progressive pin and learn, so this is our pin 4. And again, the magnetic tweezers. Okay, so now we've got our side pins in. So let's put the key back in so we can retain those side pins. And then we'll put back, actually let's do a close-up of the sidebar so you guys can see. So you can see we got like one max lift, these two in the front. Basically only have to move like 2 positions. This one has to move like 3. And then this one's a very gentle nudge. So let's get our springs back in. Make sure this goes in the right way like that. And we can press it flat so we know it goes in. So now, put that in there. We just have the sidebar in. So let's go back to the vise. And I can show you that I am still working on clockwise picking. But like for demonstration, if I set this to the heights that I know it needs to be set to, so if I move 3 up 3, and we immediately drop in to that kind of false set. Well, let me see if I can get a better view. So you can see where the tension is at now. And if I get in here and I get this 3rd pin into a gate, you can see we move a little bit. And we can pretty much set them one at a time this way. Oops, we might have overset. 1, 3. Very light tension. we might have overset 2 again. I think that's what we're doing. Here's where we're gonna have to float. Of course, now I'm trying to do this on camera, I can't do it. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. So we'll get dropped into gates, and we'll do 1, 2. Just slowly letting off tension while I try to move 1. Same with 2. There we go. So a lot of floating going on, but I can't even pick this open clockwise currently. So like I can kind of show you the setup, but you saw how I was able to immediately get into that false set from this direction. So if I just bump 3, you can see the tension tool move. On this way, the pins basically bind in the same order, so it's not like a big deal. But on this one, if I bump 3 the same way, we don't move anywhere. So 3 binds, I mean, they're all kind of binding, but we have to touch 4 barely. I gotta restart. But basically the point that I'm trying to illustrate is that picking counterclockwise gives much better feedback and drops into true gates much easier. And the reason for that is I don't know why. So we'll continue to pick on this clockwise until we get it open. But for now, that was the Robur 2391, and that was the reason why I can't pick it clockwise yet, but it opens up much easier counterclockwise. So just kind of a fun example of how some locks are easier to pick certain ways than others. Like I said, we'll definitely do another video picking this one open clockwise when I get it, and I should be able to explain some of the nuances a little better. But yeah, thanks for watching, and this was a super fun pick. Thanks again, Stormcrow, for loaning us this. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.